All right, hey everyone. I just made the first video explaining my trend indicator and why I use it. In this video, I'm going to be explaining my whole strategy, all the rules that go with it, and also my Lux settings. So, I already explained the two slope, the two trend indicators. Also, I explained the Lux oscillator. Just my settings, didn't really go in depth with it. But just to get this out of the way, my Lux algo settings are, it's on confirm mode, candle color none, sensitivity 14, agility 35, no indicator overlay, and directional matrix mode, WMA. And I don't do any support and resistance. I didn't really like it too much. I don't think it's for me. But yeah. That's it with the settings for Lux. Now I'm just going to show y'all how to use it and just how not to lose. So earlier I showed you a video on this same pair. I'll show you multiple pairs because it's pretty much the same throughout, but we'll just start right here because my second one is right there and I'll explain it. So earlier I was telling you that you would get in and get out, but following the rules of my strategy, you wouldn't have gotten in. And I'll tell you where you would have got in. So it gave you a signal right here. Although the Lux oscillator is green, this is not green. This is blue. So it's still in a downtrend. So you would have not got in right there. You would have waited. You got another signal. Oh, everything's lined up. So you would have got in here because it's all green. The first trend indicator is green. The Lux oscillator sent you a signal. Your second trend indicator is green also. And also the Lux oscillator is green. So all four of those are green. That's a go. So you get in. You would have got in. I don't get out on my first trades just because I know it's going to go back down. And I'm in this for the long term and not, I'm going to stay in for a little bit and then get out. No, I stay in these for multiple days at a time, overnight. Just I stay in them until I feel like I should be able to get out. So I would have stayed in this. It came back down, retraced. You seen it's still green. So it's still green. I would have never got out. Sometimes I will get out if you on a trade, but this one I would have stayed in. So I would have followed it. It came back up. Everything turned back green. So that's a good, it's going in the right direction. So it's going up. I would have added another, once this turned back green right here, I would have added another lot size. So I would have added a lot size right here, would have went up, came back down. Also, if it gives you a sell signal, that doesn't mean to get out, because you'll see when I give you other examples, just because it gives you a sell signal, it doesn't mean that it's going to come back down. It may be hitting a support line or resistance line, something like that. So just because it gives you a sell signal, you don't have to get out. As long as the other indicators are still green, you still have a cause to stay in a trade. So even though this is said sell, I'm still in. So I caught this super big one right here. Everything's green. Now, usually after a trade like that, I would take some of my profits and leave a few running because I always have runners. So I would take some out at this whenever my trend indicator told me to get out. This trend indicator, like I explained in the last video, this one between the candles is a great exit indicator. Super great. So I would have got out possibly a few trades right here and I would have let it run until I seen it cross. When this crossed, that is a go for you to just get out. If it crosses down, I usually get out regardless because I just don't want to deal with it. Maybe it'll come back up. But most of the time, once it crosses, you just get out because stuff like this will happen. So as soon as it crosses this line, that's an instant for you to get out. And it would have actually told you to get out right here because Lux oscillator told you to get out here. So you would have got out even before this little big movement right here. So it minimizes your losses and you get good profits. So that's how it works. For this one right here, I think this is the exact one. Yeah, it is the exact one that I showed. Now I'm gonna give you an example of something that you wouldn't trade. Okay. So if the signal right here, it gave you the signal while it was still on green. So even though this signal and it changed to blue, everything's blue, you still wouldn't trade because you got the signal while it was still, before it actually reversed. So that's a no-go. This little consolidation right here, I wouldn't have got in. Why? Because the Lux oscillator told me not to. So that's a no. I wouldn't have took that loss, or that could have been a small win, but I wouldn't have took it regardless. Now, and I guess I'll just show you a moment that you won't trade after this one. But to go more in depth on this one, I think I went pretty in depth the first time, but yeah, everything's blue. Told me to get in right here. Everything's blue, everything lines up, so I get in. It's just as simple as that. It's not a hard strategy to learn, especially if you have everything color-coded like myself, which I would highly advise you do because it's so much easier to read. You don't have all these different colors going around. Here's a perfect example of a trade that I wouldn't take. This is also a great example too, even though it's a trade I would take, but for the sales. Even though this is blue right here, like I said, even though the sales come, you don't get out of the trades. Even though the sales are here, you don't get out. This is blue, sell, Lux oscillator is still green. So as long as this is still green, it's only buys. This is blue, it's only sales. It's that simple. Right here, you wouldn't have even gotten this trade. Wait, let me see. Have you? Would you? Nope. Well, yeah, you would have gotten a trade. No. Like stuff like this, sometimes if I'm iffy about it, I'll go half. I'll go on a half lot size. But yes, I probably would have gotten this trade and I probably would have took a small loss. But like I said, it's not 100% win rate. You take big wins, you take small losses. So it's not 100%. It's more like, I think I back tested. It's more like 85-ish, sometimes 90, depending on a certain pair. But it's not 100. You do take losses. It's not a 100% win rate. Nothing is. I can't win all the time, but I can minimize my losses so I can keep more of my money. But yeah, I would have took this, and I would have took a small, tiny loss because it went up, came back down, and then it ended up changing. So I would have took a loss, which is fine because losses happen. Wouldn't have took this trade. Why? Because the Lux oscillator is blue. This is a buy. And then that's it. Oh, and another way that I found that will minimize pretty much a lot of your losses is instead of stacking trades, you would have got out. You would have got in here. You would have got out here, though. You would have got out around here. But you would have got back in right here. So even though that's not the best, it's still a little bit better. That's a way to minimize your losses, just even more. So I wouldn't take this. Lux oscillator is blue. Can't take it regardless of what anything else says. I would have took this just because everything's blue. Everything's lined up. Lux oscillator. I would have got in. Wait. Would I? Nope. Wouldn't have took that because it formed over the green Lux oscillator. But yeah, so that's just a simple one you would have missed out on. You could have gotten in over here. If you kind of tweak your settings and you get another sell signal, you could have gotten in over here. Sometimes I'll take that chance because a lot of times it's still going to follow the trend. So even though I wouldn't have got in over here, I probably would have took a chance and just maybe traded like half of what I usually do and got in over here and would have took a smaller win. But it's still a win regardless. So yeah, it's pretty simple to understand. There's nothing, all these stupid rules. It's just simple. If everything matches up, you go. If everything matches up, you go. It's as simple as that. It's simple as that. You would have traded here. Now, wait, would you? Yep, you would have traded here. You would have got some of that. And like I said, if you want to minimize your losses, you could have got out right here, around here somewhere, rolled it back down, and waited for you to come in, waited for your entry point right here. And you would have got in somewhere around here and then took a bit of profits up here. But yeah, it's super good. I've been using it. I'll show you some on gold that I got. I did pretty good on gold actually. I missed this one, I think, because I was asleep. But yeah, if you would have gotten that one, that would have been super huge for you. But yeah, I would have traded this, bought on gold. I always get out regardless of if this changes, I'll get out on gold just because it's so volatile. It could go anywhere. So I'll usually get out on gold. So I would have got out right here, rolled it back down. I don't get in on the sales, so just because nothing's blue. So I don't trade the sales as long as everything's green. So I would have rolled it back down, then I would have got in up here. And it changed, I would have got out. Simple as that. I can't, I've lost a lot of money in gold before, and I found this is the safest way for me to trade it. And so far, it's been positive results as far as I've been trading this way. So yeah, like I said, great examples. You would have traded this big one. I would have got out, traded this one, rolled it down here, would have got out. Simple as that. I wouldn't have bought here. Why? Even though the Lux oscillator is green, this isn't green. None of this right here isn't green. So everything has to match up regardless. If you follow the rules, you will minimize your losses. If you want to, maybe it'll turn green later. That's how you lose. Because when you stray away from the rules that I've put in place, then you're like, I could take the trade maybe. And then you end up taking it and you lose. So yeah, just those are my settings. I'll provide them for you once again, just at the end. But yeah, settings are 14 and 35. And a lot of the times you will even know when it's high volatility, just because this chart right here helps me out so much. It helps me out because it's like, if everything's going up, you know it's an uptrend. You're looking for a buys already. So this right here, if you don't have this, just put it on because it's super helpful. It'll help you more than you think it would. That's just an extra confirmation, just like, okay, everything's going to go my way eventually. But yeah, that's my whole strategy. If you have any questions that maybe I didn't answer, or maybe I just flew over something that you don't understand, just tell me and I'll answer them in the comments, or I'll just make a whole nother video explaining it. But yeah, that's it for Lux.